6, as we see efforts to bring down record high inflation, we're also seeing the ripple effect of higher interest rates.
And this especially impacts you if you have poor credit or no credit. And there's a term for this. It's called credit invisibility. Joe Ripley is here to break down why people of color are hit the hardest by this.
Hey, good evening. A Harvard poll showed 15% of black Americans had poor credit or no credit at all. 9% of white Americans, meantime, fell into that category. And if you do have poor credit, you're more likely to be hit with the worst interest rates, which are already high right now.
Family keeps Julia Tucker trucking along. She's owned her trucking and equipment company for 7 years now.
The cost of supplies today and the inflation, it'll drown a company.
And she's rolled through rising gas prices and rising pressure on her industry. As we see inflation rise, the Federal Reserve tries to increase interest rates to slow down the economy and make borrowing money more expensive. But higher interest rates affect credit. This particularly hits people of color hardest. The Small Business Administration's Terry Dennison says systemic and historical racial wealth gaps only make financial matters worse.
That already puts you at a disadvantage. And then when inflation increases, of course, that means you have less of a cushion to kind of absorb the impact that inflation would have.
The SBA says the median wealth for white families is $184,000. For black families, it's $23,000, and for Latino families, $38,000. Dennison says establishing or even building credit can take years, but good credit can counteract inflation to an extent. For Julia Tucker, no matter the financial climate, she'll keep trucking along for family.
The families out there in the trucking industry also need to keep going. We want to fight with them, alongside them, to keep their fleets going, to keep their truck moving so they can provide for their family as well.
One of the only black female business owners in that trucking industry. Tucker's tips for battling inflation: you can cut costs where you can, try not to spend excess money, and partner with others. There are resources and organizations available to help. Can help build your credit and make smarter investments with the money you do have. For more info, just head to 11alive.com.